One of the things to consider as a client is whether to work hourly or with a fixed bid. And I thought this job site would be a good one to illustrate the trade-offs and the general advantage of working with a fixed bid for the client. So here we see 2 large olive trees, which I put in last year. And you see a gap right here and a gap right here, where I also put in 2 more olive trees, but they died. Now, the complications of putting in a large tree on a new site, and of course every site is new, include when the truck pulled up right here with the 4 trees loaded on the truck, the machine that I had placed here was just 500 pounds underpowered. It could just barely lift the trees up off the truck, and so I ended up needing to rent a much larger machine, which I did at my expense. But in the time it took to swap the machines out over a weekend, 2 of the trees had gotten fairly stressed because they weren't put in immediately in the ground. And these are large 40-year-old olive trees. So that's why they died. Now, they're under warranty, so it's my job to replace them. So this past Friday, I rented the same piece of equipment, moved it on site in preparation for a Saturday delivery, and Friday night I heard that the truck had broken down in LA. I also learned that the nursery I was dealing with was not particularly ethical, and did not want to pay any of the rental costs for the machine that I brought on just for their trees. So now we have escalating warranty costs, and all of these are protected, meaning my client doesn't see any of this hassle and doesn't have escalating costs. But I mention this because these types of things do happen. No landscaper can control what a nursery is going to do, or in this case, the weather. We're repairing soil stirred up by the machine because as soon as the machine came on site, it began to rain for 3 days straight. That's when we moved the machine to remove the stumps. It made a mess, and so we're out cleaning that up. The plan was also to drive the machine directly on the truck off of this ramp here. But instead of that working out, we ended up needing to take the machine down the hill here. And as a result, I now owe our nice neighbor here a favor. And, that favor will be what she decides, because I've mucked up a corner of her garden. Again, my client is protected from this. And so the thing to keep in mind is that in an hourly estimate, it's in the landscaper or contractor's interest to estimate on the low side, because the client is more likely to hire them if they get 3 estimates and one of them is the low one. Every client likes to hear that. But in reality, 80 to 90% of all time and material work comes in more expensive than the estimate, but not with a flat cost bid. So these are a few reasons that, as a client, you may wish, even if it sounds initially a little bit higher, choose a contract that includes warranty and the contractor covering all contingencies in order to get the job done as agreed. In this case, what my client is going to get at the end of this is 4 mature olive trees for the flat price agreed with no extras.